So how do we prove that STE is incorrect? First of all, we use all of the current reputable science to back this claim, including but not limited to the James Webb Telescope, cosmic background radiation, the Cosmic Background Explorer, better known as the COBE, the singularity model from Hawking, Penrose, and Ellis, and also the Borde-Guth-Vilenkin theorem, just to name a few. So if you're able to keep up, for the last 100 years or so, we've had repeated new observations, which every single time point to a finite beginning of the universe. And these are all extremely substantial evidences which all support the same conclusion, which is space and time in fact did have a true beginning a finite time ago. So after we prove any STE hypothesis incorrect using the current reputable science, next what we're going to do is prove any STE hypothesis incorrect using the formal principles of logic. And how we do that is talking about the impossibility of an infinite regress or infinite number of past events. In other situations, STE can be shown to be self-contradictory and also present logical absurdities. So for the people that are new here, let us talk about infinite regress for a moment. If there were an infinite number of cause and effects in the past eternity, we could never arrive at this current moment in time. The reason is because if space and time were eternal in the past, without true beginning, then we would have had to traverse an infinite number of cause and effects. But we know that that is logically absurd and impossible. Why? Because by definition, an infinite series is a series that has no end. Therefore, it is impossible that the universe or space-time be infinite in the past. If the universe never began to exist, and it did not have a starting point, then the number of past events in the history of the universe is infinite. But again, this is impossible, because an actual infinite number of events cannot exist. If you can't have an actual infinite number of things, then you can't have an actual infinite number of past events. That means that the number of past events must be finite. Now, for a lot of people listening to me, this may be going right over your head. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you a nice little thought experiment about what I mean. What if I were to ask you, how long would it take you to jump rope 10 times? Hypothetically, let's say you tell me it takes you 10 seconds. So next I'm going to ask you, okay, then how long would it take you to jump rope 20 times? And hypothetically you tell me, well, it would take me about 20 seconds to jump rope 20 times. So then I ask you, okay, how long would it take you to jump rope an infinite number of times? At which point you will probably say, if I have an infinite amount of time, I can jump rope an infinite number of times. This is patently absurd and logically impossible. The reason again is because you cannot traverse an infinite number of cause and effects. You cannot arrive at the end of an infinite series because by definition, an infinite series has no end. So you never arrive at the moment where you say, hey guys, I can stop now. I'm done. I'm finished. I've jumped rope an infinite number of times. And this is what we mean when we speak about the concept of infinite regress. One cannot traverse an infinite number of cause and effects. So let us now apply this same concept to an atheist making the claim that, there was some eternal cycle of universe creating universe, creating universe, creating universe, until ours is the one that ultimately gets created. This is patently absurd and logically impossible, for the same reason that you cannot jump rope an infinite number of times, even if you have an infinite amount of time. And what I mean by that is if there were some eternal cycle of universe creating universe, creating universe, eternally in the past without true beginning, then our universe would never be the one which becomes actualized. We would never be able to say, okay, it's our turn. You can create our universe now. Ours is the next one up in the line. No. For the same reason you cannot jump rope an infinite number of times. You see, infinite regress cannot be overcome, right? Unless, of course, someone tries to postulate some B theory of time. And in that scenario, I just take a different approach with my opponent and show them that the B theory of time is actually self-refuting. So these are some of the ways that we begin to show that any STE hypothesis is incorrect. We use all the current reputable scientific evidence, observation, etc., and we also use the sound formal principles of logic, which prove any STE hypothesis is incorrect as well. If you have any questions about the Elliott argument, feel free to ask. They call me the atheist killer for a reason. Have a good day, fellas.